Is the early buzz for Oppenheimer a sign of a serious breakthrough, or is it a dud? In their early reviews, critics are basking in the glow of what might just be a masterpiece. J. Robert Oppenheimer changed the world as we know it when he led the Manhattan Project to develop the atomic bomb, and his story is on its way to the silver screen. Since its announcement, the biopic Oppenheimer has been the talk of the cinematic world, and for good reason. With Christopher Nolan in the director's chair, Ludwig Göransson responsible for the musical score, and a stellar cast led by Peaky Blinders favorite and frequent Nolan collaborator Cillian Murphy, the talent involved alone seemed to set up the historical drama for success. There's also a considerable amount of pre-release hype for Oppenheimer, thanks in part to its shared premiere date with director Greta Gerwig's Barbie. The excitement for double features of the two seeming polar opposite films have been palpable, to say the least. It's a perhaps improbable reason for such positive word of mouth, but it's working.
More than 20,000 people have already bought tickets to see both movies on the same day.
There's also the matter of what critics who saw it early are saying. Oppenheimer held its world premiere in Paris on July 11th, and soon after, early thoughts flooded Twitter. Based on those early reviews, it looks like Nolan has hit yet another cinematic home run. After describing Oppenheimer as fearsome, Vulture's Bill G. called it a relentlessly paced, insanely detailed, intricate historical drama that builds and builds and builds until Nolan brings a hammer down in the most astonishing, shattering way. The Sunday Times' Jonathan Dean also gave Oppenheimer a glowing review, specifically touting the film's tension and the acting work of Murphy, Matt Damon, Robert Downey Jr., and Alden Ehrenreich, while also giving Murphy high marks. Total Film's Matt Matum added the scale, the sound, and visuals were awe-inspiring. Given the subject matter of Oppenheimer, the development of the atomic bomb, it shouldn't be too surprising that it's also a harrowing watch.
This is a matter of life and death.
GQ France's Adam Sanchez commented, Christopher Nolan wanders in the mind of Oppenheimer and transforms the ravages of the past into worries for the world of tomorrow. Sanchez also described the film as an extraordinary experience. Likewise, The Telegraph's Robbie Collins said he was moved to tears by the time the credits rolled. Elsa Kes-Lassie of Variety reported that audiences were so impacted by the film that they stayed at the Grand Rex Theatre after it ended to discuss and debate it. Nolan has a pretty stellar track record as a director, an interstellar one even. The Dark Knight trilogy, Inception, Memento, and even sometimes overlooked efforts like The Prestige all left moviegoers flawed in their time, amounting to one of the most impressive filmographies of the modern era. Despite how remarkable those efforts were, some folks aren't afraid to call it early. Of the films he's made over his career, Oppenheimer is one of, if not the absolute best Nolan has ever directed. Writer and producer Ben Meckler tweeted, Oppenheimer may be Nolan's masterpiece. He predicted that it will more than likely be an Oscar contender down the road. Jonathan Dean put Oppenheimer alongside Memento and The Prestige in his personal top 3 Nolan movies. Simon Thompson of The Playlist wasn't afraid to apply words like perfect and impeccable to the feature and some of its key elements. The countdown to the theatrical release of Oppenheimer hit 0 on July 21st.